Could it happen yet? It happened, and it happened with, beyond our, wildest imagination or the wildest horror movie we could ever see. We need now to take care of all the families and the victims and all the people affected by this tragedy. We're a strong country. We'll get over this. We'll be stronger because of it.
Moment to moment, and that will be the story, I'm sure, for the next 24 hours, is how much damage was done. I think the longer-range story is even more terrible. The longer-range story is who did it and why. And if it were a nation, it would be easy to deal with, but it's not a nation. It'll be individual terrorists.
Excuse me, Governor, can you hold on for just a second?
From the tower, from right to left, I guess west to east, and everything just all of a sudden just imploded. I ran as fast as I could, went inside of a building about a block away. I stood in the building for a couple of seconds, and then all of a sudden the building started filling up with smoke. I was with a bunch of law enforcement officers. We couldn't get out of the building because everything was locked up. And then I came out, and everything was filled with ash, and it looks like I'm in a surreal movie.
Do you know if it was an explosion or if it was a building collapse?
To me, it sounded like an explosion. Then the building, the rolling sound sounded like the building collapsed.
Were there other people? There must have been a lot of people on the ground nearby when it happened.
Where that happened, there was mostly law enforcement. I don't think there were many civilians there. I don't know.
Don't move, Pat. How many people would you say were on the ground when the building exploded or collapsed?
Law enforcement, over in that corner there, I don't know. There might have been 100, 150. I don't know.
What's your full name, officer?
Police Officer Gronowski.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Folks, you're looking at live pictures on the left of your screen. On the right of your screen, the tower, one of the twin towers of the World Trade Center.
There's thick ash on the ground. Lots of it. Pandemonium here a short time ago. When the building did collapse or whatever it was that happened, it was a huge explosion, a huge rumbling cloud of... This is actually, we believe, debris from one of the planes that hit one of the towers on the World Trade Center. The FBI is here, as you can see. They had roped this area off. They were taking photographs and securing this area just prior to that huge explosion that we all heard and felt. We'll try and talk to some of these guys. Can you tell me what you saw, what you heard?
So no.
You all right?
Yeah. All right.
Where were you, sir, when that happened?
Right on the street.
What did you see? What did you hear?
It felt like another plane coming. Everybody took cover to run. We ran down the subway, but the dust followed us down there.
Were there a lot of people in the subway?
No, not that many, because they already had evacuated before.
Did you see people, anyone in danger, anyone getting hit when this...
Not back there, yeah, but I was running. I mean, there was nothing you can do, because you just saw the thing coming right over.
Were you able to see the tower after?
No. What do you mean, since it happened now? Since the fire?
Look at this guy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The streets have been shut down. There was very little traffic on the streets except for emergency vehicles going one way or the other. So there was not a lot of vehicle traffic in this area, but there were a lot of pedestrians on almost every single corner taking photographs and just looking at the building, which was when the plane hit the building.
I saw it from my office, as a matter of fact, down the Lower East Side.
So you came here?
Yes.
To check it out?
Help. No, what do you mean? To see if we can help, but this is...
Yeah. This poor woman. Wow.
Rick Leventhal is the one reporting on the ground. He's not able to hear me at this moment. But Rick...
Just the sound of a plane.
It's our jets. It's our jets. It's our jets.
All right. What are you guys doing right now? What's your assignment? What's your assignment?
Help people.
Are there a lot of injured?
Where were we, down there?
The dust is still thick in the air. What that guy is covered with is this stuff that's all over the street. Just thick soot ash just came roaring down here in a huge cloud from the World Trade Center. You see just the survivors, if you will. Are you able to talk? Can we just talk to you about what happened?
I was there when it exploded.
You were right there at the building?
Yes, a lot of people trapped.
A lot of people trapped. EMT. This guy needs help.
Rick Leventhal is not able to hear me, but from his vantage point on the ground, I think it's not clear to him what's fairly clear to us,
looks like here.
our vantage point from the helicopter, that the top of Tower 1, One World Trade Center, has literally crumbled. I can't guess how many floors, perhaps 30, perhaps 40.
The tower itself is, what I think, 107 stories tall. Tower 1 and Tower 2, one in the south end, one in the north end. It appears that the first plane that hit the one in the north end. That has the restaurant, Windows in the World upstairs, and then the south tower appears to be the one that was hit the second time. That has the observation deck. That is a obviously popular tourist attraction for people. So clearly, as we see, a pandemonium. But you know, John, the FBI and the New York City Police Department have the Joint Terrorist Task Force. They have obviously experience with this. They were able to solve the others, and I'm confident, and we should be confident that.
Let's go to Brian Wilson now. He's at the Washington. Thank you. Our Rick Leventhal is on the ground in Lower Manhattan, where these scenes of chaos and utter confusion are just mind-numbing. Rick, go ahead. Rick is not able to hear me, but this is the scene in Lower Manhattan where the upper floors of the World Trade Center, Tower 1, apparently have completely collapsed.
5 blocks from the World Trade Center, and we were standing here when there was some sort of collapse or explosion, and everyone started running in this direction. Police officers, pedestrians, EMTs, everybody came running this way. I saw a woman pushing a baby carriage, running for her life, and right behind them was a huge cloud of billowing smoke and ash and debris coming this way. The smoke has obviously cleared somewhat. Ma'am, she's with DCPI. Can you talk to us for just a second? Bring us up to speed. Obviously, people have their hands full out here. It's not easy getting anyone to talk.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah, tell me where you were. What happened? What did you see? What did you hear?
First, I went on Canal Street. I saw the fire. I saw the 2 buildings. I'm thinking it was a bomb because it's 2 of them. Anyway, when I got there, I tried to save people because I'm a doctor. When I tried to save people, in a moment we heard a big explosion coming down. Everything just went black. Everything came down, the glass started popping. People got hurt, stuff went on top of them. And it was a big explosion and everything got dark, real dark, like snow. You can see behind me, oh, this is not snow, this is all from the building. It was a terrible nightmare.
Where exactly were you standing when this happened?
I was standing right in front of the World Trade Center.
So you were down the block here? And
right
you came
there in the
running this
middle,
way?
right, yeah.
Did you get hurt at all?
No, not me.
Did you see anyone around you getting caught up in it?
Yeah, I was with the firemen. We got hurt. We all went inside to this dark. We was inside the building when everything happened, but we came out alive.
What's your name?
My name is Dr. Angel.
Were you able to assist anyone before this happened?
Yes, I did. I help a lot of patients, a lot of them.
Well, there are a lot more people that need help now.
Need help,
so
yeah.
if you're capable, maybe you should.
Yes, I'm gonna go back. I lost my ID, but I try to go back.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot for talking to us.
Thank you.
We can you talk to us for a second? Jesus, just. Huh?
I saw a trade start come down.
Well, tell me what you saw.
All right, I was coming down 6th Avenue, running down to meet this truck.
Pat Muskoff, Fox News engineer. Go ahead. Go ahead. Start again.
I'm coming down 6th Avenue. All the traffic was running up. And I'm looking up. I'm trying to call the station, trying to find where we are. And I look up, and the tower just starts crumbling down. And everybody in the street just stops and started crying and bawling. And I'm standing next to a fireman. He said, yeah, they just bombed the Pentagon, too. So that's basically where I saw. Then I came running down here. Traffic's not allowed past Warren Street. And you see what's here.
Do you know which of the 2 towers?
The one without the main antenna on it. The second one that was hit.
That's the further south? This more southerly tower?
I think it's Tower 1. I'm not too sure the exact.
And you actually saw it from the top down collapsing?
I saw it come it came sideways like this, just collapsing on top of itself. It was amazing, but very upsetting to watch the whole thing come tumbling down. So we all thought it was another explosion. Then we looked up, instead of being 2, there's 1.
Just an unbelievable scene.
Hospitals in New York are already at capacity, not accepting any new patients. There could be tens of thousands of injuries. Let's listen into what Rick Leventhal is learning down in Lower Manhattan.
Lying down, and then I looked up and I saw this huge plume of smoke and the tower just crumbling, and it just turned into a huge plume of smoke. And next thing you know, there's smoke in one tower, and that's what we're seeing right here. So, and obviously there's people are worried about the press agents and everybody else that went the other way as everybody wants went this way.
When you saw this collapse taking place, could you see if there were a lot of people on the ground near the building as it was happening?
No, I was further north than you were, but I was dead looking at 6th Avenue, the view you see of both towers as you come down 6th Avenue.
Right.
So, and then most of this fallout stops about 4 blocks back.
Give me a look down this way, Pat. You know, it does sort of look like beyond a few blocks down, it looks almost clear. But it's anything but over here.
I live at 25 Lawrence Street, a couple of blocks from here. I'm all the time hanging out in the corner on the liquor store this morning. I saw the plane coming this way in the spot. It goes factory directly to the building.
Was this the first plane or the second plane?
This was the first plane. The second plane, this no second plane. It was a bomb. Bombed in the building, not second plane. That was a bomb. Who said the second plane?
That's what we're told, the second plane.
No,
we saw it on television.
I saw everything.
All right, well, thanks a lot. This is...
In case you're just joining us, this is the aftermath of a horrific event that began unfolding about an hour and 20 minutes ago. A jet plane slammed into the side of Tower 2 of the World Trade Center. Then a few minutes later, another jet slammed into Tower 1. The second Tower 1, I should say, the upper floors have collapsed. They're absolutely gone.
I was in the restroom. There was a big shaking. Some of the ceilings collapsed. Looks like there was a fire in the elevator shafts. And they brought everyone down and started bringing everybody down the stairs.
So you came down from the 77th floor.
77th floor, down the stairs.
Down the stairs.
Yes.
What was happening around you? People screaming?
No, people were pretty calm. When we got down to 6th floor, there was like another shake or another explosion. Everyone started panicking, but everybody was really calm, and the police and firemen were very helpful.
Which of the 2 towers were you in?
1, Trade Center 1.
All right. And when you got to the ground, then what?
It's just like, it's like rubble and dust, like inches thick, and like paper everywhere, and they just moved us out.
How many people do you think were in the building on the floors that were affected? What do you think?
I mean, I'm one office out of 20 on that floor, so I have no idea.
How far above you or below you was the impact?
I think it was above us. I don't know how many floors. We saw it on TV.
Did you? Were you able to?
Yeah, I got through a phone line. I called her. I'm talking to you because I'm hoping she's watching so she knows I'm okay.
What's your name?
My name is Matthew Guard.
Matthew, ever in your wildest dreams did you imagine something like this could happen?
That happened before. So who knows? It could happen again.
Where were you when the building collapsed? Did you know that it collapsed?
No, I didn't know.
Where have you been all this time?
In the stairwells.
And you just got out?
I just got out, yeah.
Well, go find your wife, Matthew. Thank you.
Thank you
all
very
right.
much.
How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
Give us your name.
Sure, John Millette.
John, tell us your story. Where were you? What happened?
I was actually walking down. I was passing the Hudson Hotel when me and a couple of guys saw the plane come overhead, and we saw it coming in pretty low and pretty loud. And we looked up and we said, "Where's that going?" And next thing we know, it just crashes right into the building. And then we kept walking. We were right near Water Street, and you saw the second plane come into the building. And then I worked for Merrill Lynch in the World Financial Center, and we started walking around by the ferries and by Moran's. They evacuated all the buildings, and that's where we were standing, and you saw the second tower just absolutely crumble. And then that's where we all ended up like this. And if you look at the streets, this is all from the second tower. And I guess the fear now is the first tower.
Describe the first plane. What, inch by inch, as it approached the building, and what happened when it hit?
It was right by the Hudson Hotel, and it sounded like you've ever been right near an airport, or if you just saw a plane coming overhead. It felt like you were at Shea or by the tennis center. Living down here, you never see planes that low or that loud. And we just looked up, and a guy next to me says, that's going to hit the Trade Center. And it hits the Trade Center, and it looked like you were in a movie. It looked like a horror movie. And you see people jumping out of buildings when you get down to Moran's. It was horrible.
flames, smoke.
Yeah, I mean, you basically hit it, it looked fake, and then I think it really set in once the second plane hit the building, because your explosion hit both sides of the building. The explosion just ripped through both buildings, and then that's when you turned around, you saw the fire, and then you just saw the second tower just absolutely collapse, and there was just smoke and debris everywhere. And I hope all the EMS and police department on the other side of the building, everything is all right.
Did you see people leaping from the building?
It was horrible. People were dangling like white towels. You just saw them like, whatever, white pieces of cloth hanging out, and you just saw people like every, a couple minutes there was another person jumping out of the building. It was horrible.
You work in the area?
I work for Merrill Lynch in the World Financial Center. Right across the street. World Financial Center is right across the street from the Marriott Hotel. And when we were walking by, you look at the Marriott Hotel, I don't even think it's there anymore. So.
Well, I don't know what else to ask you. I mean, it's just an incredible story. It's just horrible.
It's an absolute shame.
Do you think you know people who were on the floors that were hit?
You just pray when they evacuated people. Unfortunately, they evacuated people both sides of the World Financial Center. I don't know if if you're talking talking about the other side. We were by the water, by the ferries and Morans in that area. You just hope the people on the other side, they've actually evacuated them out, and that's the fear, I guess, with this building here. You just see the fire like 20 stories. You worry about the building giving out, and it did.
How far away from the building were you when it collapsed?
I was right by where the people get on for the ferry, right next to Morans, to the right of Morans.
So 10 blocks,
yeah,
20 blocks?
10 blocks away, and then there was a decent crowd, and that's when everyone just dispersed.
All right. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. What's your name?
All right, Rick Leventhal.
Where are you from?
With Fox News Channel.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. This, oh, sorry. Are they moving us?
Yeah, we gotta move.
Where? The truck has to move?
A couple blocks up, yeah.
Why?
Chief department.
Were you folks in the building?
Yeah, we're in the building.
What floor were you on?
62.
72.
72.
I can't talk about it. It's
Tell
very
me what happened. What did you
the
feel?
whole floor shook. The building was shaking, and it felt like a bomb hit or a plane hit or something like that. But the whole floor was shaking. A plane did hit. Yeah, and then we looked out the window. All we saw was debris all over the place. But we thought the building was going to topple over. It was going so.
Well, one of them did.
One of them did. We were in town one. We made it out.
Well, you're a lucky man.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Take care. Jesus. How are you? Where were you when it happened?
On the 70th floor in the World Trade Center. The building shook. It felt like it shook about 10 feet in each direction. At that time, I really wasn't worried. I knew the structure is built pretty good, but on the way down, there was another explosion. And then the lights was out, then there was a lot of water. And right now, I'm just thankful. I have a lot of faith in God, and I hope a lot of other people made it out the building as I did.
All right, thank you. Tell me what you saw. Stop and talk to us. Where were you?
Top of the roof, 25 Park Place. Me and a super heard the loud noise from a jet. We look up and we see this big jet, like a 737 or a 727.
It was a 757?
About that. It was a big jet.
Yeah.
We saw it come, just looking like it sideways. At first, we thought it was just going to try to miss it. Bang! Right into the middle of it, like around the 70th floor. And then a half hour later, we see the second one bang into it. We're on the roof of it. We're a block away. I mean,
what's going through your mind when you see this happen?
You see bodies flying out of the sky, and you can't do nothing about it. You tell me. You tell me what you think. I mean, my heart's in my mouth. I mean, I pray for these people. There's no words to describe what's going on out there. I mean, you see bodies just coming a half hour later, still coming out of the goddamn sky. Devastating. Devastating. I can't imagine anything worse than this. There's got to be. I can't imagine. Everybody on the plane must have died. The floor, I got friends of mine on 104th floor, friends on other buildings. I just spoke to one of my friends a half hour prior to that, getting ready to go upstairs to go to work. It's devastating. I mean, I've seen a lot of construction accidents. I've seen a lot of bad things happen. I've never seen a jet fall out of the sky into a building, no less once, but twice. Devastating. Devastating. I mean, it's overwhelming. There's nothing that can describe it. Nothing.
What's your name?
My name's Artie Foreman.
All right, Artie. Thank you.
No problem.
What,
Right there.
All right. Take care, man.
Butler.
How you doing, sir?
A little shook up. We were just evacuating. I went through Tet in Vietnam, and I never seen anything like this. It's unbelievable.
How close were you to the building when this
I
happened?
was in front of the door of 5 World Trade Center evacuating the people out of the building. And we got a lot out, and then it just blew.
So you think there were still people in the building
Absolutely.
when it collapsed?
In my opinion, absolutely. It was terrible. It was unbelievable.
Everyone's running for their lives at that point?
Well, we were orderly trying to get them out, and then it blew, and everybody, you couldn't move because you couldn't see. It was ash and smoke, and so we followed the windows of the building down and got out into, I believe, Broadway. But I couldn't see because my eyes and my mouth were full. Somebody handed me this out in the street, thank God.
What happens now in terms of the rescue effort?
Well, now they'll have to wait for everything to settle down, but then go back in. There's nothing else you can do but go back in.
But can they go in based on the conditions of the building?
Somebody's going to have to. That's what we get paid for. Because as soon as we heard the explosion, we ran out of New York State Supreme Court, jumped on our jury bus, came...
All right, here we go again. Here we go again. I don't know what's going on, but the second building is collapsing, I believe. I don't know, but this happened before. We saw the same thing happen before, where the first building collapsed and there was a lot of smoke and flames. Just back up. Come on, just back up. Come on. Come over this way, Pat. Fine, we will. We can see the top of the building from here. Oh, yeah. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. Oh.
When it comes down, we're...
All right. We do need to put it down now. I think we need to put it down now. Here we go.
For scapegoats. There's no one that I know of or ever knew of in law enforcement or the intelligence world that would ever want something like this to happen. They dedicated their lives to public safety and national security. So we'll be fine. We just have to get through this.
What's on to call these following numbers. American Airlines, 800-245-0999. Secondly, family members can call a Massport number, 617-568-3100. We've also urging people not to come to the airport at this point in time. We've increased the shuttle buses from the terminals to the MBTA Blue Line stop, and the MBTA has increased the frequency of subway transportation. We are in close communication with the FAA, the FBI, State Police, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And that's all I have right now.
Joe, you've got to tell us more about these planes that left this morning.
What flights do you have reports on?
The flights, I cannot confirm or deny any flight numbers because I have not received official notification on any flight numbers.
So how can we get people to call
Call
these
in.
numbers
So
if they don't know
everybody
what flights there?
who's got a flight.
Okay, I do believe several of the media outlets are broadcasting several flight numbers. I believe they're broadcast flight number 11, American Airlines.
Is there a second flight out of Boston
Involved
in this?
I don't know at this point in time.
Were the passengers hijacked?
I cannot confirm that.
Has the airport accounted for all outbound flights?
That's outside of the scope of the airport's responsibility. We're leaving it up to the FAA to conduct that activity.
Joe, what is the code? Joe, what is the code Fort Knox? We have reports of employees screaming Fort Knox around the airport at the time that the planes went into the World Trade Center.
That, I don't know what that means. Doesn't mean have any connotation here at Logan Airport.
With the planes that are flying in here, are they being rerouted somewhere else?
Aircraft were flying into Logan Airport. We did take some arrivals, but now since the airport is shut down, these flights will be diverted to Canada.
They're not taking flights either with you.
Are you screening passengers who were let off there?
Both towers of the World Trade Center are gone after being attacked, apparently by two separate hijacked planes. One of those planes, an American Airlines flight from Boston to Los Angeles. In the meantime, folks, we should tell you that United Airlines is saying it is...
At Reed Street, for those of you familiar with Lower Manhattan, just a few blocks away from World Trade, still thick black smoke billowing from the scene where both towers collapsed. Again, just a few blocks away from us. We were standing out here on Church Street when both towers came tumbling down, and each time there was a huge cloud of smoke and debris that came roaring down this street, and everyone literally ran for their lives. At this point, the police have Mark Walsh, who's a freelancer for Fox. You live just a few blocks away and witnessed.
Dude, I live on the 43rd floor of a building which is 5 blocks from the World Trade Center itself. I witnessed the entire thing from beginning to end.
People talk about how it looked like a movie. I know when I came walking down here early this morning and saw both towers on fire and people on every street corner, it was like a movie, but you watched the planes hit the towers.
I was watching with my roommate. It was approximately several minutes after the first plane had hit. I saw this plane come out of nowhere and just ream right into the side of the Twin Tower, exploding through the other side. And then I witnessed both towers collapse, one first and then the second, mostly due to structural failure. Because
police officers running for their lives, screaming, "Get back, get back, get back!" And I'll tell you, that's a wake-up call when you see cops running for their lives, and people too, women's pushing baby carriages, that sort of thing.
Well, you had the first tower first. That one, when that first went down, it just pushed everybody back, and it was a good 15 minutes before the second tower finally collapsed. Yeah. And it was just overwhelming, and by that point, it was just insane.
Well, I'm hearing a lot of similar stories from people who were inside the building. One gentleman we spoke to earlier today, John, was on the 77th floor and said it was a relatively orderly evacuation at that point after the first plane hit the first tower. Everyone going down the stairs, not a lot of panic. But when they got to the 6th floor, he says they felt a second shake. And then people started to really be concerned. Obviously, there were people in the building at the time of this, and some of those people, they haven't recovered them yet, and that's a big issue right now, is trying to get the rescue workers and the emergency crews to the building. There were police officers there and emergency crews there when this was all happening, and they were right at ground zero when it all went down. So can we talk to you? What's your role out here right now?
I'm just standing by right now. Can't say what role I'm playing right now.
Well, there's a lot of standing by. There's also concern that some of these other buildings might actually come down. This building right here with the glass that you see, the nearest tall building, that has structural damage as well. We saw a lot of glass broken out, and a corner of the building appeared to be in distress, and there's concern that there might actually be another collapse of that building. And I can also tell you that when we first got here, we were a few blocks up. We could actually see debris from one of the planes on the street, a huge gear at one point, looked like a piece of an engine at another point. So that debris is still littering that area up there. They had roped it off with police tape, and they had FBI agents out there, and that was just before the first tower came tumbling down and everyone went running away. So there's evidence out here. There's a lot of work left to be done, and as you can imagine, the streets are a bit chaotic at this point. But I just want to show you one drastic difference looking north as opposed to looking south. Blue skies, clear streets, not a lot going on over there, but then come back around this way, Dan, and you'll see just smoke billowing from the scene. Still obviously a major disaster waiting to be cleaned up. Back to you, John.
All right, Rick Leventhal in Lower Manhattan, thank you very much. A dark day.
An occasional ambulance flying by, and just a short time ago we saw some doctors in scrubs heading on small vehicles towards the World Trade Center, which is still, or what's left of it, still smoking down the street here. Police have cordoned off the entire area surrounding it. The only vehicles passing through now are police cars, fire trucks, and ambulances, and construction vehicles like that. We just had a fleet of ambulances head into the scene. They were staged behind us here. They just went in, which suggests that perhaps they're getting closer to the base of the World Trade Center, where there might be many injured waiting to be rescued, in fact. And joining us now is a former detective with the New York City Police Department, worked with the Commissioner's Office. I know you're very familiar with crisis management. Tom Ruskin just came back from the base of the World Trade Center. Describe for us what you saw there.
There's a lot of fire, a lot of debris. The facade of the World Trade Center is all brought down.
People are starting to panic and thinking they might not be able to get food and supplies and that sort of thing. And obviously the message is not to panic and not to take these kinds of actions. Also, I want to point out they're looking for blood. They need blood donors, and they're asking people if you're able to donate blood to go to a number of locations in New York City to do just that. So something that everyone should think about. Reporting live in Lower Manhattan, I'm Rick Leventhal. Now back to you.
All right, Rick, thanks very
Years at least that panic may spread. Rest assured, in much of the city of Manhattan, there is some degree of edgy calm. There are not streets, there are not cabs in the streets. There are not cars making their way around. The bridges and tunnels to this island city are shut. You have to realize, as sentiment goes against Osama bin Laden, getting transportation anywhere else within the city and no way to exit the city of Manhattan. Therefore, they gather on street corners, talking on cell phones. Outside 54th Street, just down the street from here. We could see them at 42nd Street from the roof of our 45-story building here. Outside all the major points where transportation would normally be available. Grand Central Station, the gateway to New York City. By
the emergency services, the governor has alerted and put on standby the National Guard, and they should be able to relieve us later this afternoon. I believe that's going to be a number like 1,500, 1,700 National Guard. And we also have the urban search and rescue teams, 3 of them, that are coming to New York to help assist our police department and our fire department. So that's really the focus right now has to be.
I hate to.
How many people can we?
World Trade Center, getting people's reaction as they were fleeing from the collapsing buildings. Rick?
And Linda, we just spoke to a couple firefighters who were walking by. They were not eager to stop and talk because they're huge after this happened, but many more were not able to do that because they were caught up in the collapse of that building, Linda.
Rick Leventhal joining us live from Lower Manhattan. Rick, thanks for
there when all of this unfolded. Rick, it's good to see you still with us.
Thanks, John. We did have some frightening moments out here earlier this morning. I was in my office before 9 a.m. when I got the page that a plane had hit the World Trade Center and Manhattan. The train stopped. I had to get out of Canal Street, which isn't too far away, but a lot of people had to get out way before then, and they stopped the train service. And you know, as I was walking down here towards where the World Trade Center is located, the Twin Towers were still standing, and there were people on every single street corner just staring up like they would be tourists. But these are locals, these are residents who were standing there staring at these 2 towers that were on fire with holes in the sides of the buildings. One of the most recognizable attractions in the world, the World Trade Center is. And it was a smoking hulk of wreckage, and again, people just staring at it. I can't believe that this is happening. So we get closer and closer, and with my press ID, I was able to get a block further west and basically 1 block to the north of the World Trade Center towers. When police said you cannot go any further, they stopped us there, and this is before the two buildings collapsed, and it was chaotic. There was police and rescue personnel all over the place, still trying to figure out what was going on. That's when we were hearing that there was a second plane that had hit the second tower, and everyone was trying to respond to that disaster, and people were swarming towards the buildings to try and rescue the people who were in the buildings. We then moved, our satellite truck parked a couple blocks further south of us here on Church Street, which basically runs right into the front of the World Trade Center buildings. You can't see it now because of all the smoke that's still in the street from where the buildings are burning, but we were there in the street virtually around the corner from the first tower when it collapsed. And we saw hundreds of people running up the street right at us, many of them yelling, screaming, run, the building's collapsing. I'm talking police officers included, running for their lives because this building was coming down. And what followed them was a gigantic cloud of smoke and debris, perhaps 100 feet high, rolling up Church Street, rolling north, as the building fell down and pushed all of its debris up the street. We took refuge inside the satellite truck, which was parked right there. We didn't know what was coming, what to expect. We jumped in the truck, waited for the smoke to clear. We got out, and some of the rescue personnel then began flooding back into this area. Shortly after that, we heard that the second tower was coming down, and it was very, very disturbing, to say the least, to hear that this second tower was going to collapse right next to us. And again, a similar scene played out where police officers and paramedics and emergency personnel and just women and children in the street who happened to be down here came running this way. We too dropped our camera and ran north to get out of the way of the clouds of smoke and debris, which were actually rolling up the side streets as well, being pushed north and then up the side street. So each block that we passed, we saw yet more debris coming our way. A chaotic scene, to say the least. Since then, things have calmed down quite a bit. They've cleared the streets of almost all pedestrians, of all vehicle traffic, certainly, except for emergency vehicles, police and fire trucks and that sort of thing. We know that a triage has been set up right around the corner from us here. There was an ambulance staging area right next to us earlier today. Those ambulances were able to move down closer to the building, but we don't know if rescue personnel have been able to get into the rough as a hole in the ground. Right now, again, things quite a bit calmer, very quiet, very serene out here almost, as people just basically wait to see what the next step will be. Again, the mayor saying that rescue and recovery is the primary goal here at this point, but certainly a very frightening moment. And we'll push in now. Maybe we can see there's a giant chunk of one of the two towers in the middle of Church Street in front of the building, where the building used to be. I don't know if you can see it through the smoke and the haze, but there is a large piece of the building in the middle of the street. Obviously, it's all been closed off, and again, the fire and rescue personnel on scene trying to get close to the building. But many of these firefighters believe they have lost coworkers in that debris, because after the initial strike, the two planes hitting the towers, all these emergency personnel responding to the scene were helping to evacuate people who were still in the buildings and trying to clear people out of the area. And at that point, soon after that, is when the first tower collapsed. So there's a great fear that there may have been many emergency workers trapped at the base of that building when it did collapse. And
perhaps the heroes of this day will be those who have been performing rescue on those who are trapped inside. Rick Leventhal is with one of those individuals right now. Rick?
Countless rescues performed by Bill Quick here with the New York City Fire Department. I know you were on vacation and this happens. Take us through what your first call, and what you did after that.
I drove in. I live in Long Beach. I drove in my car. I could see the smoke coming from the World Trade Center. I have a radio in my car. I can hear everything that's going on. Just mayhem. First plane hit. Second plane hit. The first time I got there, I ran up to the building, and a police officer said, "I got people trapped down in the subway." So I went into the subway, went downstairs, got people up. People are bleeding, screaming, crying. And I just said, just come upstairs, go to your left, just keep going to your left. Just find the ambulance, go to your left, go to your left. Within 2 to 3 minutes after that, the first collapse happened of the building. I don't know which building it was. It came down. I was outside. I ran behind a pillar. I got down on the floor. So I looked at him. I said, "No, you're not burnt. You're just covered with soot, hot soot and everything like that." After that, he went on his way. I went and got a mask. I went back in the...
He's back with us now live and safe, we're happy to say. Rick, what's the latest there?
Well, John, one of the things that you did not hear from firefighter Bill Quick, who I was just speaking with a short time ago, is I asked him, after Karen Hughes' news conference began and we had to break away, I asked him about the number of rescue workers on the ground when that building collapsed, when the first tower collapsed. And he said, in fact, there were hundreds of rescue workers at the base of the building tending to people who had been injured by falling debris from when the planes hit, tending to people who had been hurt by rubble and were bleeding and dazed and wounded and disoriented, trying to help those people when that tower collapsed. And there is a growing concern that hundreds, possibly hundreds, of emergency rescue workers, police officers, firefighters, maybe some very high-ranking members of the city's fire department were killed in the debris that fell from the first of the two towers. After that first tower collapsed, people did clear out of the area very quickly. Some people did go back before that second tower collapsed, so it's possible people were killed in that one as well. But certainly, if there was a high death toll in terms of when the towers came down, it would have been after the first tower. We'll give you a look south on Church Street, where the efforts continue to try and put out the fires that still burn in what's left of the Twin Towers. We're told that one of the two buildings, there may be as many as 10 to 20 stories left standing. The other one, though, is a crater. It's virtually a hole in the ground. You might even be able to see, Adam, can you see the piece of the building? There's a piece of the building in the middle of Church Street. You can't see it right now because of the smoke and the haze, but we're going to, apparently, Rudy Giuliani is now speaking to the mayor of New York. Let's head back to the studio and to the mayor's press conference. Linda, I'm unable to hear you. I can't answer questions, but I can set the scene for you here on Church Street. We're just a few blocks north of the World Trade Center complex, which is still smoking at this hour. Still heavy clouds of smoke pouring up and out from that area. Just about 5:30 Eastern time. I don't know if you saw the pictures of the World Trade number 7 come crashing down, but we were standing right here when that happened. Another 47-story building coming down, that building on fire for most of the afternoon, and we were warned that it might come down, and in fact, it did. A scene of chaos out here this morning, certainly, after those two commercial jetliners hijacked, each one of them hitting each of the Twin Towers, starting fires, sending people panicking, running for the exits. Although I should tell you that firefighters who have been inside the buildings tell me that the evacuation was relatively orderly. People heading for the exits, going down the stairs, people from as high as a 70. The problem is because the area is still so hot, still flames there, still a lot of burning debris and smoking hot debris, they can't really get in there and begin the search and rescue in earnest. That probably won't take place until sometime tomorrow morning. In the meantime, the street behind me, Church Street, looks more like a construction zone. A lot of heavy equipment out here, dump trucks, front end loaders, cranes, and that sort of thing. Basically staging here now, preparing for probably first light when things have cooled down a bit and they can go in and start clearing out some of the heavy rubble and debris and hopefully find some survivors in that rubble. I can tell you that there's a large section of one of the World Trade Center towers in the middle of Church Street, just in front of where the towers were located. I can also tell you that witnesses who've been to the scene tell me that one of the towers has maybe 10 to 20 stories left standing. The other is virtually a crater in the ground. The area immediately surrounding the World Trade Center littered with rubble, probably 1 foot to 2 feet high. A very, very distressing scene here. Certainly the work continues to clean up and hopefully get to some survivors who may still be in there. Reporting live in Lower Manhattan, Rick Leventhal, Fox News.
All right, Rick, thank you. Terrible day in New York and Washington and out in Pennsylvania where one plane crashed. Two directed into the World Trade Center towers in New York, and one into the Pentagon. People aboard, a couple hundred people aboard, killed. No one knows how many people on the ground at the Pentagon and in New York were killed, but we're hearing some startling stories now of people on board the flights calling their relatives from their cell phones and reporting what was going on. A woman in San Francisco reported that her son called from the United flight that crashed in Pennsylvania. He said, "We've been taken over. There are 3 men that say they have a bomb." Once again, we're trying to follow every development in this. The United States now threatening anybody who had a hand in this and anybody who who would have.
Linda, John, give you an idea of what's happening here now. It looks like a construction site. More than a dozen bulldozers just rolled by us here, many of them with the New York City Department of Sanitation. You see them heading up the road now, sort of in a direction away from the scene of the World Trade Center demolition, but they may well be coming back at some point. Not sure where they're going, possibly a staging area, but certainly there is a lot of heavy equipment here on Church Street and in the area at this point, bulldozers and dump trucks and the like, basically waiting for an opportunity to go in there and start clearing the rubble of what's left of those twin towers that collapsed, and of course also World Trade number 7, the 47-story building that came down late this afternoon. The only lights that you see on, by the way, here on Church Street are being powered by generators or batteries. They have turned off electricity and gas in this entire area in the hopes of preventing more fires because of the danger when you have explosions like this of more fires erupting. So no electric in the area. People who live here are just out of luck. And in the meantime, the smoke is still billowing, although you can't really see it at night, still smoldering from the site there where the towers collapsed, where the other building collapsed, and also a nearby hotel which has been burning. We've been talking to firefighters and police officers as they come back from the scene. They're still out there. Many of these guys have been working since early this morning, plan to work through the night and into tomorrow. They're reporting seeing terrible things behind me, just a few blocks south of us here on Church Street. Bodies in the area, certainly lots of bodies, and trucks that have been demolished, fire trucks burned in the fire, a lot of police and emergency vehicles there as well, a lot of rubble, and chunks of the World Trade Center literally in the road blocking Church Street right in front of where the World Trade Center used to stand. We've seen a lot of emergency vehicles going back and forth, as I mentioned, a lot of construction equipment as well. Other than that, it's been relatively quiet out here, basically waiting for light, waiting for the smoke to clear so that they can get in there and begin the grisly task of going through the rubble and recovering the bodies and looking also for those survivors who may still be buried underneath the rubble. That is the one good story that we've been hearing out here, is that there may in fact be some people still alive buried underneath the rubble who've managed to call relatives on their cell phones. The question is, can rescue workers get to them in time? The police commissioner and others have said that they're efforting to rescue people who are trapped, possibly some police officers, possibly others trapped in the rubble. But again, a difficult situation over there because there is so much big debris, and there's also still heat, smoldering, embers, fire, that sort of thing. So they're trying to get the hot coals and get the heat down and move some of that unsteady large debris out of the way if they can, to get to the people who are still possibly alive underneath it all. So obviously a lot going on out here, most of it happening a few blocks away from us in this area, a staging area for vehicles, construction vehicles, ambulances and the like. Guys?
Rick Leventhal down there is